Hello everyone, I'm Shin Young Kyung of Media Literacy and Critical Understanding. I've been teaching elementary school students for 15 years as an elementary school teacher in Korea. I seriously thought about the students and teachers, the direction of true education. Creating meaningful teaching learning methods that consider learners' interests, curiosities, abilities, and so on is a common concern for all teachers around the world. In this class, I would like to talk about the importance of media literacy and critical understanding in relation to the educational phenomenon. The world that we live in now has become a world where there is a lot of media. With the development of information, communication, and technology, the world of media is still changing from print media to digital media. Digital transformation is accelerating, and we are living in that world. In the midst of these changes, in the media world, students will get a variety of information through digital media. An important aspect of this process is the ability of students to correctly assess, access, analyze, aggregate, and evaluate a lot of information correctly. The table of contents I will explain is as follows. This is the table of contents. 1. Open your thoughts together. 2. Media literacy and critical understanding. 3. Discover the ability to understand the representation of media. 4. Importance of ability to understand the commerciality of media and ability to distinguish information. 5. Advancing to a good class. Then, shall we begin? Students and teachers, it's a very important meeting. A teacher should act as a helper and as a mentor to students. I think the role of a teacher in a student's life is very important. So, in the recent development of digital media, what kind of digital changing environment do students live in? What kind of education should teachers open in the changing media environment? In the recent rapid changes in the digital media environment, the learners we meet can be called digital native. Do you know what digital native means? First of all, digital native refers to a generation that has been exposed to the digital environment from birth and communicates digitally in life. The world in which our students live today and the world in which our students will live in can be communicated and shared based on digital. On the other hand, our teachers are the digital immigrant generation, living in the present media environment of the past. It's a generation that learns and uses digital technology, such as computers, the internet, and smartphones. That's why teachers need to be more active in understanding this media change, preparing for the upcoming digital media world. How should we guide our students as teachers? What kind of classes should be planned and activated? The teachers' worries continue today. Students should develop basic literacy and literacy skills. Literacy education that reads and writes printed texts well is important, but media literacy education that reads and writes media well is also a very important keyword in the education paradigm. So, let's open our thoughts together. Why is critical understanding of media literacy so important? Now, the world we live in is the era of the fourth industrial revolution. The value of information is becoming more important, and that is why the ability to critically understand information and to recognize and judge reliable information has become a very important competency. Our society is changing into an era of AI, artificial intelligence, as an intelligence information society, and the growth of YouTube on a one-person media platform has become an era where various contents exist. Especially, the internet world is flooded with fake news and false information. That makes the ability to detect fake news and judge the reliability and validity of information more and more important. Buckingham, an authority in the field of media literacy, said, "We emphasized critical acceptance, creative production, and active participation in media education. To foster media literacy, readers and learners who read the media should basically develop critical comprehension skills." In order to form a media literacy, its critical understanding, our education should support students, cultivate and form a comprehension ability to evaluate or judge the suitability or validity of media content, conformity of reason, the truth, etc. in the ever-changing digital media environment. Teachers should help learners support and grow in preparation of changing media education. So, why is critical understanding so important? Now, everyone became a one-person media and produces content. It has become a world where you can easily enjoy diverse and endless content in a ubiquitous world by using smart devices anytime, anywhere. But we have to question whether this information is reliable, valuable, and whether it has the ability to discern. Aren't you forgetting the ability to accept, evaluate, and judge wrong information in one way? A critical understanding of media literacy first begins with us having the right media literacy skills. The ability to access diverse media, to critically understand the information and content that the media provides, and to express and communicate your thoughts responsibly with the media is very important. You need to approach it, analyze it, evaluate it, create it, and express it in action. In the critical understanding of media literacy, critical understanding means contemplating the authenticity or acceptance of information in the media world and combining rational and reflective thinking with critical thinking. It refers to the ability to distinguish and interpret, evaluating and judging the right and wrong information provided by numerous internet texts, digital texts, in various learning situations performed by learners in the media world. The ability to read and evaluate critically has become a very important task in the current media world. Next, let's talk about the ability to understand the representation of media. Representation of the media is as follows. 1. Discussions on the relationship between reality in the outside world and reality reflected by the media will begin. 2. How the media mediated and reflected the reality of the outside world is very important. 3. In the process, do they reflect external reality as it is, or are you distorting? Requires teachers to develop educational activities so that students can be critically aware of it through teaching learning. Let's look at one public service advertisement about the ability to understand the representation of media. This advertisement is one of the public service advertisements in Korea. What do you think of this advertisement when you see this? In this picture, a young child in a car is holding a handle and her arm is synthesized into the forearm of a man with strong muscles. It's hard to do this in the real world. The advertisement text below the picture shows Soo-hyun's face saying, "My dad changes every time he gets in the car. Do you know how anxious Soo-hyun is when she gets in the car?" The advertisement implies not to drive too fast or too recklessly through the image of a young child. So, the media is reproducing the reality of the outside world in the media, and learners who are readers need to get a good grasp of the relationship. In the media, you need to critically understand it by asking yourself, does it reflect the external reality as it is, or are you distorting it? Next, let's think about the importance of the ability to understand the commercial functions of the media and the ability to distinguish information. Media includes advertisements or messages from various commercial functions. In this situation, how should we accept and judge various messages? Where can that critical understanding come from? The commercial function of media can be thought of in the relationship between media and commercial advertising. The purpose of the company is to pursue profits, and to do so, we are constantly building a commercial business through the media. In this media environment, learners should understand the commercial functions of the media, do not accept all the information, and critically distinguish reliable information, evaluate, critically accept, and understand. In order to do this, we will look at what the teacher should consider to prepare a teaching learning plan next. In order to understand the commercial function of the media, teachers should teach learners to develop the ability to correctly distinguish information. Next, you can find its direction in the key concept of Elizabeth Thoman's media literacy. You need to think about this in 5 key concepts: author, format, audience, content, purpose. Focusing on this, students should support the development of their ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and communicate media based on these critical key questions. Thinking about the 5 key questions of analysis and media production when students are looking at the various media. The world is changing rapidly. The digital media environment is developing day by day. Students will participate in a variety of teaching learning activities using smart devices, and their educational activities will be accelerated in a student-centered digital media environment. In this world, the ability to cultivate media literacy and cultivate critical understanding is very important. Let's think about the direction of media literacy education together. Teachers and students are at the center of the change in the future that will come to us, and in the age that students will live in. We should all be prepared for the changes of the world. Students also came to school today and are participating in various educational activities and are working hard. We look forward to an educational field where our students can freely dream, communicate with friends, and share their thoughts and feelings with friends and teachers. Media literacy education will be possible when students' active participation and critical debate discussion activities are combined. Students should think independently, expand their critical thinking skills, and move toward critical thinking. We must aim for a culture and life that express my thoughts, your thoughts, and our thoughts, respect each other, and share them. The education of media literacy and critical understanding should be well organized and carried forward in the happy process of education that we are making together. I dream and hope for the growth of students and teachers in the changing world. Thank you for listening to my lecture so far.